Hey there, it's Mr. Miller. This next couple of weeks, we're going to be working in a software package called Adobe Illustrator, and it looks like this. You should be able to find it in your Launchpad. When you click on it, it will open up, and it will look like something like this. You might have a box or two to close, but for the most part, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to start off this first couple of projects just practicing with the software, and so we're going to create a new project, and it's going to be letter sized just like this, and we're going to hit OK. Everything over here can stay. We don't have to modify any of those settings yet. So the wheel will spin, and eventually you'll end up with an artboard. That's what they call the workspace in Illustrator. It's called an artboard. I'll close some software really quick. There we go. So this is our artboard in Adobe Illustrator. We have a number of selections. Yours will not look like this. Yours will start off looking like this. So we have a list of tools just like Photoshop here on the left. Some of them look familiar. The text tool, the eyedropper tool, the eraser tool, arrows and stuff, those look similar. A couple of the new ones, the ones that are essential for this, are located right up here across the top. So the third one down is called the pen tool. This tool gives us the ability to draw points. So when I draw, I click once. This is called an anchor. And as I am moving my mouse, I can move. It automatically snaps to 45, 90, 45, 90, all the way around. So if I go over here, it's going to be a nice straight line. I can come down in a straight line. I can go over here. And as I go underneath, all I'm doing is every time I get to a spot, I click, and you can see that it leaves a new anchor point. Basically, I'm doing a connect the dots. Once I get this done, it fills this whole path in. And you'll see that right now, there's no color to it. We're going to change that a little bit later. But what I want you to do is just practice clicking and making shapes. And if you click and you hold a little bit, you'll notice that you end up making curves. And so you can make all sorts of shapes. The longer you pull, these things are called handlebars. The longer you pull the mouse as you click and hold or push the button, you'll see that you move it around. You change the angle of attack in, angle out. And so everything will change for each one of those things. So you can make all sorts of shapes. And so we'll play with that for a little bit. So hit pause, make some shapes, come back. All right, so the next step we're going to work on is changing these shapes around. And to do that, there are two arrows over here. We have a selection tool that will let us select an entire object. And we can move them around, we can rearrange them, organize them, layer them. Whatever one was drawn first will be on top. Whatever was drawn last will be on the bottom. And so I can move them all over the place. This gives me the ability to move things however I need. I can resize a shape. Click on this, I can resize this shape. Skew it, whatever I need to do there. If I go on the outside, I can rotate it, and it automatically rotates. You don't have to press enter or anything. If you do, it does that. But the top one just lets us select the different shapes. So if I click on a shape, you'll notice over here on the right hand side that I have two different things. I have the fill. Well, actually, there's three settings on here. The fill, a stroke, and an opacity. The fill is what goes inside the middle. So if I click on the square next to the word fill, I click blue, it's going to fill that square with blue. I click on this one right here. Go fill with yellow. Click on that one. Do some orange. Some green down here. Red. And we'll do a gray. There we go. So I have 5 shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't count. We have 6 shapes. They all have a different color. Now the second option here is the stroke. And what the stroke does is that does the border around the outside of whatever the shape is. So if I click on that shape and I choose a color off the stroke, you'll see that it just affects the outline of that shape. I hit yellow. You don't really see it here because it's only 1 point, 1 pixel wide. If I increase this, you'll start to see that it gets bigger on the outside. So for each one of these things, I'd like you to go back through and do a stroke that you can actually see. So take some time and go do that. So different colors. Let's do this one. There we go. So I have different colors on each one. Well, let's do something different on here. There we go. So every one of those. Now, the last one is the opacity. That's basically how transparent is a shape. So right now, because this shape is over top of the other one, the opacity is up to 100%, which means that it is 100% of the color. If I lower this down a little bit, you'll start to see, especially if I just click in here and swipe down, you'll see that it changes the visibility of that shape. So you can layer things on top or behind or whatever. Okay, I guess that one's the very first one I drew, so it's funny. Triangles were last. There we go. So you can drop the opacity. It changes how visible the shape is inside the thing. So we've used our pen tool and we've used our selection tool and changed some colors. So in the next video we'll do a little bit more.